kind of speaking through that thought process is indicative of where other teams are just not executing as cleanly, right? Because this all happens simultaneously for Atlanta Academy. They're so used to these kinds of engagements that you don't need to really think about it. It becomes second nature. For other teams, they're still looking to solidify that synergy so it becomes that easy.
I think now that Envy lost their last couple iterations of tank players recently, I think Atlanta Academy now have the best. Look at Hawk and Gator now on Reinhardt and Winston. Is Hawk going to stay on this Reinhardt? But
Double
Atlanta
main
Academy,
tank is the thing.
I think we are looking at the best tank line in Contenders right now on Atlanta Academy. I think in terms of supports, Kodak and Funny Astro are very close. I do not think they surpass Fire and Crimzo on Envy, but it's a pretty close second for them. So Atlanta Academy, one of the best tank lines, if not the best in all of Contenders in both groups, and they're showing up, and that gives so much freedom to Sugar Free and Saucy because everyone is able to do something in all of these fights. It's not just one person like on Bermuda. A lot of the time it's Carter doing something or Ultima Web. For Atlanta Academy, everyone contributes, and that's a big deal to their success, and be the other team that really does that.
Yeah, back when it was Mirror Goats all day long, if you had a backline that could produce kills, you were already miles ahead of your competition. Oh no, Amplification Matrix doesn't work if there's nothing to amplify. Ultimate Web goes down almost immediately.
Gonna punch through the window and everything. Yeah, Atlanta Academy taking this really quickly. Who yesterday
Not
finished...
quite the shuffle, but all right, I like it. Oppose.
Yesterday, I'm blanking on the team for some reason, but there was a team who finished this map with 4 minutes and 16 seconds left in the time bank, and that was the fastest that we've seen so far in terms of where this is going right now. That initial pick, I think, keeps them up there in terms of potential fastest ones that we have seen so far in Contenders. Atlanta Academy trying to get there. They did get picked off. One person did get picked off, but Ultimate Web is slept. At least he's behind the shield, and in the back line will be woken up with that rocket. Sugar Free does have that rocket barrage, so this momentum will most likely continue through streets, but the EMP does not hit anybody important on Bermuda, but it doesn't matter because they're going to be falling anyway when there's already a pick before the EMP comes through. It doesn't matter who's hacked. The numbers advantage is enough for Atlanta Academy.
Exactly. EMP is very much like Grav. It's not a fight winner in and of itself, but it's just a way to get easier kills without all of those abilities. So Atlanta Academy's Sugar Free still hanging on to this barrage. Just really hasn't had a chance, hasn't had a great time to use it so far. People just fall in front of him like paper cards. Bermuda now is going to invest the EMP themselves.
Oh, look at the response, though. Sugar Free going to get the Nano because he's on the ground. The only way for the Pharah to survive is to get the Nano onto the Pharah, and we've actually seen this work out for other teams as well. The Pharah receiving the Nano way more frequently, and the Res does go through, but the Mercy does not. Sugar Free 10-player kill streak. This is what we mean by everyone producing. It's literally everyone playing well at the same time. There is no compensation that teams, or Atlanta Academy, at least today, is doing. We did see it at the beginning of the season just a little bit, but again, I truly believe this is the best tank line in North American Contenders. And to show how quickly I think Montreal Rebellion were able to do this map with 4 minutes and 16 seconds left in the time bank, we're almost there. So this will not most likely match what I consider one of the fastest that we've seen in Contenders history, but it's definitely close.
Very close, but going to be a little bit less close after those couple of picks. Carter now on the Widowmaker. One-shot kills. Hey, if Bermuda don't yet have that teamwork, might as well put the most dangerous weapon that they have in the hands of one of their most dangerous DPS players. So Carter going to go for those one-shot kills, and Atlanta Academy got to keep their tank healthy. Gator goes down. This is a big opening for Bermuda.
Oh, but is it going to be enough? The Res goes through. The Dragon Strike's able to cover the Res as well. Good heads-up play from the Mercy. EMP going the other way. She's going to be able to self-destruct those, so this should quell them off for a while, because with the self-destruct, it's harder to get that follow-up damage. Just beats the Demon, finding the kill onto Hawk on the other side. In my opinion, he's on his weakest character right now, is that Sombra. He produces so much more on the Diva, but they're running with this comp. Sugar Free's on the Torb this time around. They have been rebuffed for Diva getting this defense going.
Yep, Shu just playing a little bit of keep away as Gator falls once again, and Atlanta Academy potentially getting a little bit too comfortable here. Pizza Demon, while Sombra is one of Hawk's weaker heroes, Hog is actually one of Pizza Demon's strongest heroes. He's also quite good on the Zenyatta and the Ana, but Roadhog is definitely where he's shown up huge for Bermuda in the past and already doing tons to just shatter Gator's shield. Atlanta Academy has to rest, wait, pass more time before that shield comes back into full health. They're going to just use that time to, I don't know, maybe Hawk spam a couple of voice lines.
Sonic Air, though, is going to show Bermuda exactly where everybody is. Vision is so very important. Only a couple characters can provide it. Gator is aggressing upon Pizza Demon. Hawk finds the kill. This is 65 for Atlanta. If there's a return kill from Bermuda, is it going to be enough? As the Dragon Strike tries to go through Atlanta Academy, it does separate Sugar Free from the rest, but he's going to be pretty aggressive. He knows what that character does, and he's going to be able to find that kill onto Pizza Demon. Dragon Strike is not enough for Bermuda, as they're going to get spawn camped.
Spawn camped, and that should be a map finish for Atlanta Academy. Hawk can definitely drop this bomb, zone everybody away. Carter's going to know exactly where this bomb is, though. Amplification Matrix just to try and see if Bermuda can get out of spawn.
Well, and they're not going to be able to find any sort of value out of it because it's used just to get out of spawn. Supercharger has been used. Self-destruct is there. Will it find anybody? 2 kills for Hawk. Actually, just a lot of clutter there. Just 1 kill. But some various sundries now for Atlanta Academy. No one's on the point. Round 1 complete. Atlanta Academy finished King's Row. Will Bermuda make it past point A? I've gotten to the point now where I'm questioning if they can make it past point A. I'd love for them to compete against Atlanta Academy here at times. They've gotten it closer, but every advantage is taken away so quickly for Atlanta Academy.
Exactly. We can't sugarcoat it. Sugar-free. This is a no-sugar zone. So Bermuda really just have had such a difficult time all throughout the season. They've had some very bright moments, but against Atlanta Academy, who not only are performing very well and continuing to do so, but they know how to press that advantage, get inside their opponents' heads. And Sugar Free on the Brigida, not generally a hero that you can really pop off on, not a very flashy hero, but he's enjoying, you know, what time he has left while she still has that insane amount of self-healing before Brigida becomes more of a dedicated healer, quote unquote.
I was on PTR playing the new Brigida, and it had left my mind that the Inspire healing was part of the changes, and I was going up against 5 Sigmas, and I was like, you know what I could do? I probably could just go in there and just use my flail and get a bunch of healing going and just face tank a lot of this stuff. And it was a lot harder to do, so she's definitely less durable, but she provides way more utility. I actually like the changes so far. I'm gonna have to do
3
a little
heal
bit more
packs, right?
Exploration. I like that you could stagger heal packs as well, which is a really interesting mechanic. And Rally being slower too means that the healing is going to be more important. So inherently, in order to be a good Brig, you're going to have to be providing a little bit more utility. And I like the changes so far. Bermuda on the other side on attack is going to have Shu on the Roadhog this time around. It was Pizza Demon last time.
Yep. So they're going to have a bit more front loaded on that damage. Is Gator dancing here previously, just going to be scoping out again. Atlanta Academy never rushed. They're never hurried. Every time they dive, it's with decision.
The escort. Did you see that Hawk defense matrix right in front of the monkey? Jumps in. Is going to be safe because the defense matrix is going, but the counter damage is there from Bermuda. A little overconfident now from Atlanta Academy. This has happened to them in the past. Hawk is also very low. He's getting a little bit of healing, but because there's not a ton of point presence for Bermuda, their point presence is dead. They're not going to be able to push that advantage as much as they would like. They were able to grab 2 ticks though.
Yeah, that dive was all set up. Saucy was invisible in that backline the entire time. Bermuda didn't see him, and neither did we until it was time to pull the trigger.
Beautiful pick, though, as Gator's gonna fall. Res for them. She's gonna have to potentially invest this rally. Now that Hawk is team next, it's gonna be very hard for Atlanta Academy to hold on here on this first one. I love seeing this from Bermuda. This is the life that we needed to see. The confidence that they can come in, get those picks, and Gator playing too overconfidently. You can take advantage of that. Bermuda is doing just that. His ultimate web is doing some work in the sky. The Coalescence, though, could bring this right back from Kodak, especially with the EMP as well. And it looks like they're doing just that. They're so low. The Valkyrie's going to be forced out. The Coalescence definitely making it interesting, stalling this point out a little while longer. The Kodak's still alive, but Bermuda should lock this up. The Coalescence was scary, though. There was a moment where you thought it was coming back, but there wasn't. It was wasn't quite enough damage.
Could have been different if Ajax didn't have Valkyrie or wasn't willing to use Valkyrie at that moment. But just like us, we were questioning whether or not Bermuda would even get this first point, and Atlanta Academy is certainly becoming much too comfortable. Shu got that hook kill onto Kodak, cut off all of the consistent healing to Atlanta Academy, and that is what gave Bermuda their first foot onto point A. That can absolutely happen again. Bermuda not changing up anything with this lineup, so Atlanta Academy cannot rest on their laurels.
Charger is there. Everyone's doing extra damage. The Rocket Barrage should definitely help. The pockets in the air. He's separating the Mercy, but the Rocket Barrage does take Sugar Free down. There are trades going both ways. Self-destruct now coming in from Hawk. Doesn't find anybody, but it does clear the payload for Atlanta Academy to try to stabilize on top of it during the commotion. The Orisa goes down for Bermuda. Atlanta Academy stabilized here. Nice hook, though. He's going to have to try to make it back to the level. That he does. Not enough follow-up damage, but a nice headshot from Carter opens up the payload once more.
Yep, Bermuda right now trading in those one-shot kills. You think that you've taken away all of the threats, but Carter's still there hunting on that off angle. So Atlanta Academy now still have to hold for 3.5 minutes. This is not all over for them just yet, and Saucy is still a little bit a ways from that EMP, but the kill onto Ultima is certainly going to help him.
Hawk is bursted down. Coalescence is there in time. The whole Hawk could push the Coalescence away. Gator, look at that movement, getting behind the team, causing the whole Hog to turn around. And when that happens, the rest of his team can aggress and take a little bit of space. Gator could fall here, but he's done his job. Bermuda have been rebuffed.
Exactly. It was worth it for Gator's life because Atlanta Academy were able to trade that one Winston for 2 kills, and Bermuda again going to be stymied here at the arc. But this is big. This is major. Atlanta Academy now functioning with a 5v6.
Chain, nice hook onto the Diva. She was sleeping, taking that opportunity to take her out of that neck, and they do take the payload back, but Atlanta Academy at every which way taking time off of the clock, making everything harder than Bermuda really wants it to be. The EMP going to make things very difficult for Bermuda to do much of anything. Saucy needs to get something out of this. Is he going to try to take Human out instead? Oh, look at that. Look at the information. He's going to force the Nano out as well. EMP follows right after. 3 members of Bermuda hack, but Carter finding that first pick. Will Atlanta Academy be able to bring this one back? His Hawk is low. Once more, the Nano comes out this time around. This time for Gator. Carter's going to try to burst him down. Unable to do that. Supercharger's going to be no more. Rocket Barrage, though, is going to take Funny Astro away. There is no Ultra Weapon in it. The sky, they're going to have to wait for the Coalescence to stop. And Bermuda's going to do just that. Atlanta Academy is still at a man's advantage here, but it doesn't look like it based on the way that they're playing. They had taken the payload back, Bermuda giving them that respect, but the Drag Strike going to take them away. Hawk going to lose his neck once more. Is Gator going to hop in front of the ally barrier or not? Enough for Bermuda to take this point. They got to clean it up. Hawk is out of that neck, but look how close he is to getting it back. And it's going to be too little too late for Atlanta Academy to stop Bermuda on second here on King's Row.
Very, very important for Carter to help take down Saucy on that Zarya, because if you give that Zarya some leeway, if you keep her, let her stay in that fight, she's going to be burning holes right through your armor, right through your shielding. So Bermuda managed to find that point B, and off of some pretty coordinated play, Atlanta Academy tried to go for that same Sombra Winston dive, and Bermuda was ready to respond that time around.
Atlanta Academy help again. Gator's going to have to be forced to use that Primal Rage. That didn't have to contest this control full up in, and the Sky finds Sugar Free, but there's a return kill on the other side. Hawk not finding anything with that self-destruct. Usually we see he's the one of the more consistent ones at that, as Gator somehow falls to the Dragon Strike. It's intriguing how that happened, as Bermuda continuing their momentum. Atlanta Academy definitely faltering here.
Yeah, and it's totally possible for Bermuda to finish this with the same time bank as Atlanta Academy. 2 minutes now for Bermuda, and they're coming up on Supercharger, and Whole Hog is also available. Kodak now going to try and buy his team a quick kill with this Coalescence.
It's at least the space those on the high ground and make them think twice about how they're going to engage onto the payload, but everyone low again for Atlanta Academy. The healing just not enough coming in from Kodak and Funny Astro, but the kills aren't there. Hawk losing his neck one more time. Now it's all about him going back to spawn, but a beautiful Dragon Strike and the halt coming in for Bermuda means that Atlanta Academy could be on tap of taking this payload. The res goes. Bermuda have everyone back. Will Atlanta be able to stall this out long enough? As of right now, the answer is yes. Chain being a little afraid to get onto the payload. Ultimate Web, though, needs to clean up everyone else. Nano's on the spare. The Rocket Barrage is there as well, as Hawk is going to be taken down. Gator's going to follow. Bermuda now primed to be taken this point.
Oh, Ultimo Web landing these rockets, shredding that Brigida's shield, and Atlanta Academy forced to put Saucy on that Desperation Doomfist, but he's going to be great against tanks, not so much against the Pharah in the air, but again, Bermuda needs to clean things up. Take Hawk out of mech is going to make everything so much more easy for Ultimo Web, and it does come through. However, Chain is down now. Bermuda needs to make up for this lack of a main tank on the point. These DPS have to start working overtime, and Carter gets the pick onto the Hammond.
Somehow, though, Atlanta still have not given this payload back to Bermuda. Bermuda has had at least two-man advantage at point in this fight, but with this pick coming in from Atlanta Academy at 30 seconds left, Atlanta Academy somehow have stabilized. Bermuda losing a huge opportunity there. We said it a little earlier, Chain playing a little scared, wanting to wait for the shield cooldown, but no one was getting onto the payload. That's an inherent weakness of what Bermuda is running, and we're seeing it come into play here.
Chain had Shu behind him, but I think just the lack of experience from this team in these kinds of situations, you just have to go for it. Take that space, because you give just a little bit. Sugar Free is going to squirt out from that spawn and find that kill. The resurrection does come through, but they lose the Mercy almost immediately.
The Halt's behind as well. Ultimate Left takes Hawk down before he's able to get back into his next Rocket Rush. Isn't everything that Bermuda needs, and somehow the magic still stays for Atlanta Academy, and you can never count this team out. A nice hook means that Saucy is going to have to, Funny Ash is going to have to use that sound barrier to keep everyone alive, but still Atlanta Academy's fight to lose. Sponsor Bermuda are still very far away. If they continue staggering them out, it's all about just keeping the point up. Atlanta Academy actually having a hard time doing it for now, but that's going to be it. Atlanta Academy win the map. They're now 5 maps away from that golden season. And walk us through that. Bermuda, 2-man advantage twice in that fight.
Oh,
what was the big thing causing them to not be able to take the payload? I think one, for at least for me, is Kodak getting coalescent so quickly multiple times.
That's definitely a big one. If Atlanta Academy, ultimates aren't everything, of course, but if you can have ultimates, that's always going to be a big advantage for you, and especially in the hands of a player like Kodak, who knows exactly where to leverage that damage. And I think the whole difficulty for Bermuda that last 3rd point push was not knowing when they could push their advantage and when they had to cede that space. And it just comes down to experience and to teamwork and that synergy. But Atlanta Academy, they knew that they could keep a body on the cart at all times, right? And Sugar Free on the Tracer did such work for Atlanta Academy by splitting an already very split and discombobulated Bermuda team in half by hassling the backline with that Tracer. And even if he hadn't been able to get that stick onto the Ana at such a crucial time, you're still tearing Bermuda in half. And maybe a more experienced team, a more confident team, would have just been, whatever, forget the Tracer, it doesn't matter. If we just clear this payload right now, we can still find this point. But Chain either wasn't able to push forward or didn't feel like he was confident enough to push forward and take that space. So Bermuda were just hanging out in that no man's land for an inordinate amount of time. There were so many moments where Bermuda simply could have taken 5 steps forward, and that would have forced Atlanta Academy to focus all of their support, all of their resources on the cart just to hold that space. As it stands, Bermuda allowed Atlanta Academy so much room that they weren't ever truly under pressure.
Atlanta Academy, 5 maps away from a golden season again. We've only seen this once, I believe, in all of Contenders, all over the world in the single drop barriers. Maybe did it twice. I could be lying though, but definitely one time in the Pacific region, and to do it in
Australia.
In Australia, and to do it in North America too, with the amount of the difference of play and the parity that's going on below Atlanta Academy, and how differently I think a lot of these teams play. When you're playing against Bermuda, it's going to be a very different experience playing Gladiators Legion, or I think Skyfox would be a great example in terms of a very different play style than Bermuda, but Atlanta Academy able to deal with all of them.
Yep, very much jack of all trades, hilariously master of apparently only one. They love, love, love to run Sombra goats with Moira specifically. And it's worked out for them regardless of what opponents they're facing, regardless of what map type, what compositions they're coming up against, Atlanta Academy always seems to ring true with Kodak on this Moira, and Sombra occasionally, and not. Bermuda, though, so close, so close! Oh my goodness. And that was actually a little bit of a scary moment for Atlanta, and obviously if they had finished out the map, we would have gone into extra innings, would still be an uphill battle for Bermuda, but that Roadhog look, either with Shu or Pizza Demon, really doing them a lot of favors.
That's not the kind of map Paris was, right? Paris was Gator dancing all over him, right? Doing the safety dance, doing the strategic shuffle, breaking it down. And it was because they were in such a dominating position. This time around, a lot less of that, a lot less of the dancing, a lot less of the BM, because Bermuda were pushing them. And it was the first sign of weakness Atlanta has had this whole series. And it's actually really interesting because last week, as the series went on, Atlanta Academy got so overconfident that they almost lost Havana, but were able to bring it back in some amazing play on their side of things. Atlanta Academy just don't seem to know how to lose.
Like the Greek tragedies of old, Atlanta's biggest weakness is their hubris.
Yes, 100%.
Gives their opponents tons of openings, tons of unforced errors that they otherwise would not have. But hey, Gator's still feeling it in his bones. He's still jigging with it. As Bermuda are going to look once again to that big porcine pugilist to carry them through. Capo this time around, putting on the hog skin.
I mean, maybe it's not a ton of openings, but Atlanta Academy definitely provide openings. Gator does get ahead of himself. It's, and honestly, so does Sugar Free at times.
Right? I mean, if Bermuda can land a hook onto Kodak's Moira and kill him, I would reckon any team could also look for that same opening.
Exactly. Atlanta Academy going to be running Kodak, and look at this already at 15%. Ultimate Web, though, beating him out here. That means he's producing a ton of damage from the sky. As Hawk going to be taken, though, they're going to need a little bit more output from their healers. Coalescence will be online here very shortly, but not in time to save the mech, as Carter and the rest of Bermuda really stuffing Atlanta Academy right now. This is continuation of King's Row. The defensive side this time around functioning quite well.
Yeah, and Carter lighten things up with this Widowmaker, and this is certainly something that Atlanta Academy had not counted on. As you see them now swapping around, Saucy now on the Tracer. I would say great pick here. Always love watching Saucy on the British Time Traveler, and Sugar Free on the Genji. So there's multiple ways to deal with a Widowmaker. One of the most popular, of course, is to just run your own Widow, but another way to do it is to close the distance and try and set up one of those patented Atlanta Academy dives, but you need a Genji to do it.
Trades, though, a little bit more value from the Rocket Barrage. Hawk is out of the mech, and there's no Ana as well. Will this ball find the kill? Yes, but his team gets killed in the meantime. Bermuda, again, on the defensive side, playing very well.
And Atlanta Academy forced off of their favorite comp. I don't know if we've ever really seen this. It's very, very rare sighting to see Sugar Free on the Genji, certainly, and Bermuda going to be feeling, buoyed. Still gotta keep a healthy amount of fear in your heart, but they have Whole Hog and Supercharger, and they're not afraid to use it.
Sugar Free is doing a whole lot of nothing right now at 25%. That means that's mostly passive, to be completely honest with you. A couple good shurikens, but at 30%, and Saucy being at 96, you know that Genji is not doing what he needs to do. This is a good opportunity for him to develop more of that charge, but he's going to be taken down by the supports of Bermuda. I think it's time to change if you're Atlanta Academy. You got to switch it up one more time. You got a minute and a half. Now is a great time to do it.
Yeah, they might want to go for the EMP into Blade, but with the way that Sugar Free has been charging it, it's really more of an AKM Blade. Atlanta Academy need to find some kills, and they need to find it consistently. Bermuda has started to peel for their backline, something that we haven't seen from this squad for a very long time, but here we have it. EMP, where's the dive?
Hawk has the self-destruct, but they're not going to use any more ultimates outside of the Nano. 82% now for this Dragon Strike, and the EMP looks like it's going to be enough. The confidence coming in from Atlanta Academy is backed, and to be able to say, hey, I'm just going to go ahead and EMP, we're not going to need anything else, and to be able to finish that off, Atlanta Academy does just that. Proves why they're so good as Bermuda challenging Atlanta Academy at the tail end of that. Gators onto this Wrecking Ball. Hasn't been one of the greatest looks so far, as proven with that kill. Saucy, though, going to get a return.
Funny, Astro. cutting Ultimate Web down in the middle of the salute, but it is a trade, and Bermuda are running that Mercy, so we got one free do-over. However, Bermuda still need to watch out for Sugar Free's blade. Carter needs to cut that Genji down before he can get close to his team, but it is going to be easier said than done.
Man, this blade has been a long time coming, and at this point, they know that it's there, and here it is. Here is that Dragon Blade. He's into the backline, finds one. Oh, beautiful Swift Strike into the air, takes down Ultimate. That's going to be enough, and they did just use the res, I think, about like 20 seconds ago, so it's going to be up very soon, but will it be... will he be able to get it done? It doesn't look like they're going to do it. Gators slept. Will they be able to take him down? Wrecking Ball's really good at escaping. That he does. It's going to be some nice ult charge for his supports. That blade was pretty. Yeah,
you couldn't ask for two better targets. You got the main tank and you got the ulting Pharah. Ultimate Web, unfortunately, DPI not quite high enough to turn in time to get that Genji, but Bermuda now going to try for their own Tracer look with Carter up that.
Oh my goodness. You know what that means, friends? Hawk! Coming in from Hawk, the self-destruct with the EMP takes down 3. Atlanta Academy find that second point.
Yeah, there's just no counterplay. There's no counterplay to that. You're either behind cover or you're dead. And Atlanta Academy able to take away some of that cover themselves, as Bermuda now going to put Carter on the Reaper. We've seen some Reaper play before. Oh, still in my nightmares. Sorry, Facility. But no, they're going to actually swap to the Hanzo, and I would say a little bit better, just in case. Good at taking away space from a very tank-heavy composition, with Atlanta Academy running the GOATS comp with Moira once again.
Bermuda now using the Supercharger to try to get this defense to stabilize, but it's already down, so all of that extra damage is not going to be available for Bermuda. Atlanta Academy feels pretty confident about this, but Ultimate has separated some of Atlanta Academy away from the initial frontline engage. They're all going to go back to the payload, but in the meantime, the payload has made it to the first quarter. This is one of the hardest parts to turn, and they got it past. EMP now coming in from Capo takes 3. Gator, Saucy, Sugar Free don't have any of their cooldowns remaining. Funny Ass, you're very close to his ultimate. Doesn't even need to use it. You want at least a kill. It's such a valuable ultimate. It does take a little bit of time to get there. You have to make something out of it. Right.
Oh, got it!
It's going to be eaten. I was looking for it. It's going to be eaten instead. Atlanta Academy doing everything right in the tail end of Dorado. Bermuda struggling now to mimic what they were able to do on point A here on the last point in the lab. Atlanta Academy still fighting those kills. They're still ahead here. Bermuda need a miracle.
Absolutely a miracle. Oh, but this Orisa not going to be much of a miracle maker. Dead. Supercharger comes out, and this single Mercy tethered to the ground, not going to be in time to keep Overtime alive. And again, just one of those moments of the Atlanta Academy hive mind. Kodak has slept, and you saw Ultimate Web ready to dive down on that Moira and delete her. Who steps up? Well, the entire team. Literally the entire team steps up and body blocks that from happening. So Atlanta Academy really functioning as one. It was as though they were like, oh, we can just walk through this Bermuda team. Started taking it a little bit more seriously, certainly after they were cut down to less than a minute to take point A.
Well, you actually touch on something that I think Atlanta Academy and Evie are very well known for. It's the fact that when, say it's even our first game, right, with Uprising Academy and Square One, there are just more opportunities given because the quality of play is not up to what Atlanta Academy is showing here and has showed all season, right? Atlanta Academy just doesn't give you opportunities. And when other teams might, Atlanta Academy does not. And I think your Hive Mind is a really good example of that, right? Most of the time, you're going to be able to get that kill no problem, right? Get that rocket, get that punch in, fly away. But against Atlanta Academy, they're so good that they know how to defend against that as well. It's not as easy for you. Nothing is easy. And that is just something that Atlanta Academy, I think, has on lock. And I think Envy lost a little bit over the last week. Again, they did lose that map. They're still undefeated. I mean, I think they're on, whatever 7+6 is. I'm afraid to do math now. 13. 13-game win streak themselves, but comparing their performance on Monday versus Atlanta's performance today, Atlanta looking like a scarier team, one that you really don't want to go against. But I think you're right as well. I think their hubris could be what takes them down. If they go into a game hyper overconfident, they can take them down just like this.
Like that. Yep. Sometimes you only need a single hook. Hi, Carter. Oh, thanks for joining us. Carter's just had such a hot hand with his Widow ever since the second half, and Atlanta Academy, man, they are beating a fast trail back to the point A choke. And Atlanta Academy, the thing with them, just to kind of finish that point, is not only are they good at making opportunities, they're good at denying opportunities, which is the next level. Oh, Carter, though, oh, man. And so, see, for example, Bermuda were able to peel the last time around when they were defending. Not on their offense this time around. The Widow just goes down in a straight up 1v1.
He's back up though. Ajax able to get the res off, so Sombra could be hunting for a Widowmaker when Saucy comes back. 55% to that EMP. That's pretty good. You do want it to be a little around 60 to 70. It's all about how much percent you can take before you have to translocate. You really want to hit that 10 to 20 before you're forced out of it. Nice halt. It's going to bring some of Atlanta Academy back on. The Payload Ultimate Left now has Rock Barrage. This is a really great opportunity to use it, but the angle not quite there. Needed to drop just a little further. Jump the gun a little bit, but the D-Mech is still there. Bermuda still in the advantageous spot for this fight. Kodak might unleash his Coalescence if he chooses. That seems to be the get-out-of-jail-free card for them, but with the Biotic onto Saucy and Sugar-Free, this is all she wrote for Atlanta Academy. Bermuda will continue.
Really liking Chain on this Orisa. We haven't shouted him out quite as much, but that halt into Ultimate Web's 2 rockets for 2 kills, now that's value, my friend, and that's going to net Bermuda a point A in a fraction of the time that it took Atlanta Academy.
That's true. 4.5 minutes now on the second part of Dorado. Bermuda have ultimates. They're going to have another barrage. They're going to have supercharger. They have the support ultimates. But on the other side, it's going to be the same story. Actually, 6 ultimates potentially online for Atlanta Academy for this next fight. To paint that picture, it means that Atlanta Academy just have a little bit more room to work with. As Ultimate going to fly a little too close to the sun, is going to be able to survive the initial weathering of a damage. And Hawk really trying to take the Spirit out of the air. Really good timing on this rocket barrage to make sure Hawk goes away, but that's going to be all that Bermuda really gets. Nice interference from Hawk. Hawk does fall, but he does everything right in the meantime.
Yeah, it gives Gator the opportunity to take Carter down in that back line, buys Atlanta Academy some time, and when you're the defender, sometimes those trades are all you need. And now Saucy is ready and primed with that EMP as well. Lets it fly.
In fact, the 2 people in the air, that's exactly what you want to see. With the type of comp that Bermuda is running, you're not going to see big 6-man EMPs all that often, and it's all about targeted EMPs in that point in time. And he does target Ajax and Ultimate up into the sky. Ajax falls. No support for Bermuda. Atlanta Academy should feel pretty good about that. There were some return kills for Bermuda, but Atlanta Academy have gotten this defense going. Gator going to get halted. He's going to hop right away.
Not going to fall victim to the halt this time around. Atlanta Academy been using these ultimates in order to buy time. Not able to out-mechanic Bermuda this time around. But hey, when you get value from ultimates like that, every time you pop one, you find those kills.
And Hawk's so good about getting value out of ultimates just like that. Manatin's another one that comes to mind when it comes
Fried
to those.
back in the day.
Yeah, Fried back in the day, or FRD. The winner, the Fried winner. Back in the day, just those naked bombs becoming way more popular because the bigger bang just isn't happening. Bermuda now with 3 ultimates. Atlanta Academy don't really have much. They've got Funny Astro, but even though Kodak's at 20%, I can totally see him getting this Coalescence in time to finish out the next fight. As Bermuda's given a little bit of room, Atlanta Academy want this fight to be taken a little bit later in a more easily defendable position.
Yeah, they especially want to have all of their members alive. Carter, though, that means he's going to be able to hold this high ground, or not.
Sound barrier is off. This means that they're going to be able to bully the birds in the sky, but Carter going to be able to take Gator down. Ultimate still at 200 HP as well. You need to find more if you're Atlanta Academy from that sound barrier. Kodak, though, taking the Mercy out means that Bermuda going to be functioning without that Valkyrie. Saucy now going to take out the other bird in the sky, clipping their wings. There is a return kill, but I think Atlanta Academy got the more valuable ones.
Yeah, there still is a big piggy body on the point. However, Capo has yet to be dislodged. However, Chain struggling on his own. The hook misses. So that means Bermuda is going to have to go for that soft reset.
You get that hook, you maybe get the D-Neck onto Hawk, and you're potentially on your second point.
I mean, Capo got the hook onto Saucy, and that bought them space all the way up to this catwalk, but unfortunately no further. Atlanta Academy now will be able to use that EMP ultimate cycle, use the EMP as a placeholder for the rest of your team to get their ultimates up, and if Saucy catches this pharmacy,
Oh, he's going to go ahead and just cause a
Doesn't
little
need
bit
it.
of discord just in case. Nice control, especially since Kodak was already using the Coalescence. It's not necessary to use the EMP in that moment in time, but I think times are a-changing. Saucy might be looking for it, especially if Bermuda tries to aggress on this 5v5.
Yeah, Atlanta Academy now, again, has to fall back, but they're hoping it's only a temporary retreat as Saucy rounding back around, going for the big EMP.
Only gets 2, but that could be enough. Capo's going to be the one that falls. Take a breather, not online, going to be taking a nap instead. Bermuda goes back to spawn. Ultimate Left, though, with the Rock Barrage could change this fight in just a button press, but Atlanta Academy doing actually a really good job making sure that the barrage will max maybe get 1 person, and that's okay if you take that casualty if you take the Pharah out of the air as well.
And Bermuda right now, they've just been stymied. They haven't been able to use any of the tools. Carter was performing really well on this Widowmaker Ultima Web on the Pharah as well, but if you never get that setup, you're never going to be able to find full value. And that's where Atlanta Academy has been working their dive so well, providing support just so that Gator can frustrate the Widow. He doesn't have to kill her outright every single time, but if you can take away that space, you've done your job.
Team up for special attack. Echoes through Dorado. Rocket Barrage needs to find something, and Gator going to fall down. Hawk, though, going to throw the self-destruct, takes the Mercy out of the sky. Unable to Guardian Angel to his Pharah, but Ultimate is still alive. That's all that Bermuda might need. That's a little too far away to find any more from that Rocket Barrage, but Sugar Free going to fall the old-fashioned way with a rocket to the feet. Bermuda should be continuing on here, especially since Hawk is going to get staggered, but is it enough to grab the point?
Bermuda do need to win one more fight. It's going to be 6v5, but everybody needs to be executing. Capo has been hot with those hooks so far. He has the whole hog ready, but Sugar Free is now on the Tracer, and we've seen Atlanta Academy use Tracers in the past to wreak havoc on Bermuda. Gotta be keeping an eye on where Pizza Demon is if he's healthy.
Sugar Free gonna go down. Kodak went to the flank to try to take down the Widowmaker, which means the Coalescence is gonna be there for everyone else, and actually Kodak goes down before the sound barrier gets used. We've already seen Atlanta come back from a worse spot from this. Are they going to be able to do it again with that hook? Kappa should seal the deal here on the second point, but Atlanta Academy were able to take 4.5 minutes off the clock, leaving only 1 minute and 27 seconds. Less time than in the time bank of Atlanta Academy.
Exactly. It's going to be very difficult for Bermuda to finish this, but it is still possible and potentially threaten Atlanta Academy's golden season. They are so close to accomplishing what has never been accomplished before in North America, but Envy fell just last week. Dive coming in now between Saucy and Gator. The hook is good, but Gator lives.
He also has Primal Rage, so he's going to be feeling good about that as Atlanta Academy find that initial pick onto the Widowmaker, but Saucy and Sugar Free so low, but again, Bermuda unable to finish it off as Atlanta Academy stymie this offense from Bermuda.
Each time Bermuda make progress, they have to readjust their playstyle for every new point, every new choke that they go through, and at 40 seconds, they don't have that time anymore. It's a luxury they can't afford. They have to start winning these fights now.
Carter, though, that's a great pick.
Oh, that's an awesome pick. You gotta go forward. Move, move, move. There's only so fast. It's only so fast that Ultimate Web can float. The rest of the team needs to hurry up and get on the cart and try and push this advantage while they still can. Another great hook.
Oh, Gator keeps putting himself in this position. He's depending on his supports at this point in time, and they tend to be there for him. And this time around, he's there again as the self-destruct is going to keep him alive, make everyone leave that room, and now Gator gets a kill onto Chain. But now, with the Rocket Barrage, that monkey's not going to be around. The rally's definitely going to help out Atlanta Academy as time goes down. No one is on at the point. Atlanta Academy finished the sweep of Bermuda. It was pretty shaky there at the end of Dorado. But 4 maps away from a golden season in North America East for Atlanta Academy. If you guys are curious who they're going to be going against next week, it's going to be arguably one of their toughest tests of the season. The golden season will fall on Sky Foxes next week. It will be Atlanta Academy and Sky Foxes to determine if Atlanta Academy will be able to do what no other North American team has been able to do before, and that is the golden season.
It's still there. It's still there for Atlanta Academy. They certainly had it taken to them. A lot of times we see these younger teams fall off after the half, but I would say Bermuda leveled up, and some would call it stubbornness, but again, they like what they know and they know what they like. They like the hog. The hog is such a great look for Bermuda and for any of those teams looking into the playoffs, the potential matchups against Atlanta Academy. definitely want to consider putting a Roadhog on your team, because the hook one-shot kill has paved the way for Bermuda all the way up into the power plant of Dorado against Atlanta Academy. We are talking the top seeded team has not lost a single map to any team the entire season, going against the bottom ranked team, Bermuda, who has not won a single match. Nearly took him to the brink. Roadhog.
Roadhog is definitely becoming more and more effective, and in the playoffs could be that much more effective than what we've seen so far this season. But that's going to be up.
I was just going to say, caveat, having a Widow with a hot hand too also helps. Just say it.
That's true. Widowmaker definitely helping. Hanzo helping as well, especially with that shield break. But that's going to be it for us. Ham and I will be saying goodbye. This next match is going to be a banger. It's our second place matchup. It's Grunto versus Skyfox. ZP and Avast will be back with the cast for that one, and we'll see you all in 6.